Hello guys, and welcome back to the another class of our course about Python. I am done now with some many things that can be used for you guys to create your own programs. And we are going to talk another very important thing about Python. So, we are gonna talk about the if statement, which is something that is very important for you guys to understand if you want to create your own applications. So, what exactly we are going to talk? Well, in this class, we are going to talk principally about what is the if statement, how it works. We are going to talk about Boolean variables since those are very important for you guys to be able to use if statement because without Boolean, you are not able to work with if statement. And we are going to talk about everything that is around if statement. So, we are gonna talk about OR, AND, ELIF, and NOT. So, we are going to create some small apps around all this, so you guys will be able to understand what it is exactly and how it works. Alright, so before we start in this subject, we have to understand what is Boolean variable. In this case, Boolean variable is simply a variable. Well, Boolean is simply data type that will have true or false value. So, basically we have strings that are text, we have numbers that are well numbers, and finally Boolean which is true or false. So, for you guys to understand, let me write down a variable and store a Boolean data type. So, in this case, let's say I will write down I want to eat and store the value true. So, in this case, what Python understand that this data type which is I want to eat is equal to true. So, I want to eat, technically yes, I want to eat. So, this is true. In the other case, let's say for example, I want to drink. This is another variable that we created. In this case, let's say false. So, what Python understands that first variable is true, so it will return a value true, and second variable something based on statement that is false. So, how works that if statement? So, how does works that? It is very simple. Let's say a situation happens to you and you have created something and you expect a certain outcome. So you will ask yourself this question: if this outcome appears, I want this to happen. If it doesn't appear, I want something else to happen this. Exactly what Python will do, and this is exactly what we will do with our if statement. Let's say for example, add some other things. If this happens or this happens, I want this outcome. Or if this happen and this happen, I want this type of outcome. So that's exactly what we are going to do in this class. So let's start right now. So the first thing I will ask you guys to do, simply write down if. So when we wrote down if, what we will want to do, write down a variable. In this case, it gonna be I want to eat. So if I want to eat is true, so in this case, Python will verify automatically. So that's the way that we can ask ourselves if it's true. I want to print. So in this case, let's have a pizza. Let's have a pizza. And if you run the app, as you can see, Python returns let's have a pizza. So this is the condition. The condition is if I want to eat, well, it return let's have a pizza. So if for example write here false instead of true, and we run our app. As you can see here, nothing will appear because something will appear only if we have a true value here. Alright, let's say we want something to happen. In this case, that this is not true. So in this case, that this is true, it will return let's have a pizza. But in this case, that this is not true. I want something to happen. So what exactly you do is very simple. Alright, so else, and I will write down what I want to print. So in this case, write down I am good. And if I run my app, well, it's gonna print I am good. So let's say I want to eat, let's have a pizza, and if I don't want to eat, I will return I am good. So once again, as you can see this is the way that we can use our if statement. So another way that you guys can use, for example, with if and, in this case verify 2 or 3 or infinity of variables before giving the answer to. In this case, let's say for example, if I want to eat and I want to drink, so both of those variables are true. This means that I want to return. Let's have a pizza and let's say drink. So what Python will do, Python will verify first of all, is it true? If yes, he will verify, is it this variable true? If both of them are true, Python will print this. If not, Python will print I am good. So let's verify it. Let's write down true here, just for you guys to understand, and we run our app. In this case, Python returns I am good, because first variable is false and second one is true. But if both of those values are true, so in this case we are on true. As you can see, Python will return let's have a pizza and drink. So right now that you guys to understand, the next thing that we want to do is work with the if or. So in this case, Python will verify if one of those variables is true. So what we want to do, right here instead of writing down, and we will write down or. So if I want to eat or I want to drink, so I want Python to return let's go to the restaurant. Let's go to the restaurant and we run the app. So in this case, as you can see, both are true. So Python will return let's go to the restaurant. If only one of those is true, here we write false. So as you can see, only one of those is true, and we run our app. Python will still return let's go to the restaurant, since we have used or right here, or statement. If we change it by and, it's not gonna work because we don't have both of them respective. But we only write or, it's gonna work, because one of those variable is equal to true, and this is what we ask Python to verify. Alright, right now that we understand all those things, the next thing that we are gonna ask ourselves, if for example to verify another statement, or in this case, let's say for example we have I want to drink, and let's say this is also false. I want to eat is equal to false. If it false, let's say I want Python to verify something else part. So in this case, I want Python to verify if I want to drink. So in this case, Python verify if I want to eat, and it's false. So how exactly I will add if statement? In if statement is already exists, so it's very simple. I will use elif. When I use the elif in an if statement, it simply I add a if statement inside of another if statement. So let's say those variables are false. So that's why I will use elif, and in this case I will write down my function. So I want to drink, and I will verify if I want to drink. So if yes, I want to drink, what should I will do? It will simply print, let's have a drink. Let's have a drink. Alright. And otherwise, in this case, I will write down my else and a print, I am good. Great. So you can see here. So first of all, I will ask Python to verify if I want to eat. If yes, I want to eat, then I want to Python to print, let's go to the restaurant. If I don't want to eat, I want Python to verify if I want to drink. If yes, I want to drink, then Python will print, let's have a drink. Otherwise, I want Python to print, I am good. So I run this app. The first thing I am gonna see, I am good, because both of those values are false. If, let's say, the value I want to eat is true, keep this thing in mind that T is capital in true and F is capital in false. So Python verifies I want to eat is it's true. So Python should return, let's go to the restaurant. I run my app, and yes, that's what I see. So if both of the values are true, so we run the app stops running here because first verify I want to eat, it's true, then print let's go to the restaurant, and Python will print this, and that's it. The app stops here. Well, it's gonna stop here, but if I want to eat is false, so in this case Python will verify if I want to eat, no, that's false. If I don't want to eat, so then Python will verify if I want to drink, and in this case it's true. It's going to return, let's have a drink. So if we run our app, as you can see, Python will return, let's have a drink. Well, those are the ways that you can guys use if statement. Another thing that you can add to your if statement, and that's the last thing that we are gonna talk about, is not. So let's say for example I am using the if statement right here, and I want to verify the reverse. So let's say for example if I don't want to eat, in this case I will simply verify if not. So if I don't want to eat, I want Python to return, let's go to the restaurant, which doesn't make sense. Once again, it's just for example, so let's change the example bit. If I don't want to eat, I want Python to return, I am good. So in this case, Python will verify if I don't want to eat. So in this case, if I not to do so, it's going to be the reverse. Instead of being false, write true. So what Python will do? Python will simply verify if it's true. Well, if it's true, it's gonna become false. So Python should return nothing. And if it's false, and when Python will return, I am good because the only thing I will simply verify reverse is true. So in this case, if it's false here, it becomes true, and if it's true, it becomes false. So until now guys, you understand the if statement and how it works. If you guys have still problem with this, I suggest you to repeat this class to be able to understand. Once again, the if statement is something very huge in Python, so practice it. So that's it for this class guys. See you in next class.